I'm sorry, Silo fans, I was spending this past weekend cleaning and am far behind on my Silo breakdowns, but after finishing some delicious chicken stew, I am back with a deep dive into the latest episode, and this one gives us the most clues yet this season. If you're new to these videos, this is a non-book spoiler video where we go over the show's biggest theories, and if you have read the books, you can make fun of everything I get wrong. That being said, let's venture into the Silo. There's lots to discuss. One of the things I really liked about this episode was a slew of new information regarding Silo 17. That number was given to us from a man named Solo. Now, it's important to note that's probably not his real name, since he calls himself that because he's the only person left. I wonder if his real name has any sort of relationship to any of the characters we know. Solo has a lot of confidential information, like how there are 50 silos. The ones closest to his are numbers 15, 16, and 18, with Juliet having come from Silo 18. The history of this silo seems to follow a similar path to that of Juliet's. There was a guy named Ron Tucker who went out to clean, didn't, thus sparking a rebellion, leading the citizens out of the silo to venture into the toxic wasteland. There's even messages like Ron Tucker lives, similar to the Juliet lives graffiti in Silo 18. It's this information that compels Juliet to get back to her silo. If the citizens there saw her not clean and venture out of sight, will they too also rebel and get themselves killed? But there are a few mysterious things Solo says here. Keep in mind, we don't really know if he's a reliable narrator. This is a guy who's been cooped up for more than 20 years, unable to distinguish if someone is real or imaginary. He states that when the people initially went out, they survived longer than the usual 3 minutes, and they did it without any suits. This was a result of the wind blowing the poison away. All of this seems really suspicious. Russell, the head of IT for Silo 17, who we saw briefly in episode 201, ordered his shadow, Solo, to stay in the server vault and not let anyone in. Where did Russell go? Then there's the question of these 2 dead bodies just outside the vault. Juliet remarks that their bodies are in a lesser state of decomposition than the ones outside. Did Solo kill them? Did he let them die of starvation? And are they the ones who wrote the "we will get in sooner or later" graffiti? Whatever happened with these people seems to have instilled a fear in Solo, which is why he's so hesitant to come out of the vault. But I get the sense that Solo genuinely wants to help Juliet. He leaves her chicken stew when he could have poisoned it. He also tells her where the firefighter suits are, which could potentially be used to get her back to Silo 18. Also, where did he get this chicken stew? Does he have a hoard of canned food somewhere? Silo 17 also had the same type of cleaning video which appeared inside the helmets of the cleaners. This is all run through a system of, quote, advanced computers. The computer in front of Bernard here seems to be one of those, with its ability to receive wireless communications underground and accept voice commands. The song Solo plays, which wakes Juliet up, is Peter Gabriel's 1987 single, Red Rain. It's all about nuclear fallout, with Tim Holmes of the Rolling Stones stating the song's descending melody acted as a soothing metaphor for an apocalypse. Juliet needs Solo's help if she's to grab a firefighter suit from the submerged level 23. Someone will have to pump air through whatever device she plans on building to venture underwater. Solo eventually comes out, stating this is the furthest he's ever been out. With Juliet asking him if there's more he wants to see, I wouldn't be surprised if we visit Solo's old home and learn more about his past. Now, do we actually believe that Solo has never made it out this far? Or is there someone else in the silo watching them? We've gotten a few of these creepy shots that looks like someone's watching Juliet, plus the rope she used in episode 201 looks suspiciously like it was cut off. Let me know what you think. Back in Silo 18, Judge Meadows is brought into Bernard's vault. This is a place she's tried to get out of her mind ever since she was training to become his shadow, and one thing in particular she detests is the Order, a book that outlines procedures for almost any incident in the silo. Bernard has brought Meadows in for help in navigating the potential uprising, but as we'll later find out in their awkward suit measuring scene, he doesn't take any of her advice. There's some interesting bits of information here. First is that someone tipped off Judicial that Teddy was the one who painted the Juliet Lives graffiti. Either there's a mole among the rebels, or this is Knox, who doesn't want to see his friends getting killed. Second, notice how there are doors behind the server room. What's behind there? Maybe it's a living quarters in case of an emergency, and that's how Solo's been able to survive. Third, Bernard mentions the hard drive which contained the video Juliet broadcast to the silo. Bernard destroyed it, but strangely kept the pieces, meaning we might see it put back together. Finally, Bernard lies to Meadows. He says Juliet asked to clean. Part of Meadows' journey this episode is uncovering this lie, ultimately finding out that one of the witnesses had doubts about whether or not she said it, which should have resulted in Juliet having an inquiry before being sent out to clean. Paul himself was told by Juliet that she never said it, so this all seems to have been orchestrated by Bernard. Speaking of orchestrations, Sims has one of Juliet's accomplices, Patrick Kennedy, incite a riot. Is Bernard aware of this, or is Sims making his own play to prove that he is worthy of being his shadow? The goal here is to paint people down in Mechanical as violent crazies so no one else joins them in their rebellion. We know that Meadows has a collection of forbidden relics, such as this frisbee. However, in this episode, she has one that would definitely be classified as red level. This futuristic cube has projections of home videos showing the world up top. I'm sure Meadows always dreamed of going outside, but it wasn't until Juliet proved she could survive that Meadows asked Bernard if she can go. She yearns for a world beyond the oppression of the silo. Bernard approves this and outlines how during routine maintenance in which the cameras are taken offline, he will let her venture out in her own specially made suit. The question is, will he do any funny business with this suit, or will Meadows try anything once she gets out there? Meadows and Bernard seem to have this weird sexual tension which may complicate their decisions going forward. Knox, who's doing his best to keep the peace between Mechanical and Judicial, is chewed out by Shirley. They can't keep doing it her way or more people will get killed. The scene ends with him talking about that wall of names young Juliet and Shirley found in episode 201. All we really know about these names is that Shirley said they're from the rebellion. So what are they? My best guess is that these are the names of those who died in the first rebellion, or at the hands of Judicial at that time. We'll see this never forgotten mark on the wall. Perhaps a similar shrine or memorial of people who have died to Judicial can be used to sway public opinion in their favor rather than using brute force. It's also possible these names could be some sort of code, but I couldn't find anything that made sense. Something I found super interesting was Sims promising Patrick Kennedy a drug that can wipe out his memory going back 20 plus years. The memory of his dead wife haunts him so much that he's willing to work with Sims to get it erased, something that ends up getting him killed. But the fact Judicial has such a drug that can destroy these memories is really interesting, and you know they wouldn't be afraid to use it on any potential enemies. Last season, Juliet chewed out her father after it was found out he was complicit in keeping those birth control devices in when he told the couples they were being taken out. Well, it looks like Pete has a change of heart when he meets a young woman named Phoebe Wells. She is designated as code Silo Orange, meaning she is to be told the device was removed when in fact it wasn't. But Pete takes it out anyway. This act of defiance is yet another crack in Bernard's hold over the silo. Now we get into our trailer sleuthing section where we take a look at this season's trailer to sleuth what might be in store for us in the season ahead. Here we have a capsule being jettisoned up this silo, delivering little pieces saying Juliet lives. I think this might be Knox's doing, as in episode 202, he said he had a special job for this engineer guy. I wonder if he had him make this device. Looks like Juliet gets that air machine in her efforts to secure a firefighter suit. My guess is that Solo is operating it up from above. Here's Juliet talking to someone other than Solo. That is, of course, unless Solo shaved his beard, but could this be the mysterious other person that lives in Silo 17? Here's another great shot of Juliet now looking as though she's in that suit. We'll also see Knox and Shirley start a rebellion, but the question will be, can Juliet stop them before they make it outside and repeat what happened to Silo 17? So that's it for this episode. I will try to get back on schedule for next week, but let me know your thoughts and theories in the comments below. Thanks for watching, be sure to like and subscribe, and for more bad takes you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at ThinkStoryYT. Until next time, remember, Daddy loves you very much.